Welcome back, everybody. We had a little bit of a break, but we're back to practicing together, and we're going to continue as if there wasn't really a break with the second week in the Kosha series. So the last time that we were together, we did a practice that was all about the outermost Kosha, which is the food body. And now we go one layer in a little bit closer. And so today is all about the Pranayama Kosha. And as the word prana implies, we're talking about energy and breath. And so that's kind of the realm that we're going to be really exploring today. So go ahead and find a comfortable seat, maybe cross-legged or maybe hero's pose as I was just in. And I'd like to invite you, as we bring our awareness to the energy and the breath, to place the hands on either side of the rib cage and maybe softly close the eyes and actually feel the body breathing. Feeling that sense of expansion on the in-breath and that sense of softening on the out-breath. So yoga philosophy tells us that there are these 5 layers known as koshas that encase our deepest layer of being. And each of these layers correlates to a particular energy. And the Pranayama Kosha relates to the in-breath, the out-breath. And it's all about the life force energy that flows in and around the entire physical body. You can release the hands to your lap or your knees, but continue that awareness on the breath. And so the Pranayama Kosha includes the breath, but it also includes the energy field that surrounds the physical body, as well as our energetic aura or presence. And as we grow in deeper relationship and awareness of this energy body, we also deepen our relationship with the subtler aspects of ourselves. Enjoy 2 more breaths just in this centering, arriving portion of the practice. And then we'll start very gently with some neck movements. So take your fingertips down to the mat and walk them away from you until the elbows straighten and the fingertips are just barely touching the surface of the mat. And then start to drop and lift your chin in a vertical line at a pace that feels good to you. Just going back and forth in this up and down movement. Maybe noticing the breath as it comes in and down the throat. And the next time the head passes through center, pause and start to move horizontally, turning the head right and left. The throat is kind of the corridor for the breath. So even in these neck movements, noticing the breath, noticing the sensations of the breath as it moves in and out of the throat as you move the head and the neck. And then as you come to center, pause. One more neck movement here. Start to drop right ear to right shoulder and left ear to left shoulder, just tilting from side to side. We're going to add on a little bit to this tilting motion. So the next time the right ear is towards the right shoulder, pause. This is a place you could stop. If you want more, take the right hand and just place it on the left side of the head, letting the weight of the arm rest there. And then a final invitation would be to take your left hand and slide it behind your low back. Really emphasize a sense of the left shoulder dropping away from the left earlobe. Enjoy one more breath there. On your next exhale, let your chin drift down towards your right collarbone, just for a breath or 2. And in my body, I feel a sensation kind of slide more towards the back of the neck. And then I'm going to re-elongate left arm and right arm back into that V position. I'm going to let my head roll forward, chin to my chest. And then again, I could stay here, or I could interlace all 10 fingers behind my head, let my elbows drop towards my lap, and enjoy a few breaths there, decompressing the back of the cervical spine. And this may be also an opportunity to hear your breath. And then take the fingertips wide again and roll left ear to left shoulder. And we'll take those additional options on this side. First one is to lift the left hand, place it on the right side of the head. And the second option is to thread the right hand behind the low back, really letting the right shoulder have this dropping sensation away from the right earlobe. And then the final option here is to start to tilt the chin down towards the left collarbone and just witness that subtle shifting of the sensation moving towards the back of the neck. And then we'll release the arms out wide once more. Let the head float back up to center. And then on your next in-breath, let the arms sweep out and up. Nice big sun breath. Exhale, bring the hands out in front of you. Walk them about halfway to your depth. And then start to move through some seated cat and cow. So inhale, pulling the heart forward. And exhale, pushing the floor away and rounding the spine. And just rolling back and forth several times through this seated cat and cow. Experiencing a balanced breath here. And also really letting the breath fill the body completely. Last one of these seated cat and cows. And then as you inhale, reach the fingertips out and up. We're going to come to a seated position. So I'm going to bring my hands forward. I'm going to uncross my ankles, tuck all 10 toes, and I'm going to make my way into my first forward fold by just doing a little do-do-do-do-do. Lower the soles of my feet to the mat and take my first dangling position. Knees can be soft here, and we have about 3 to 4 breaths. So you decide, do you want this to be more still or do you want some movement? Maybe some swaying or maybe some light bouncing feels nice. And then we're going to take 5 half lifts to Uttanasana forward fold. So take your hands and just place them right behind your lower calf. As you inhale, lift up to a tabletop spine, half lift. And then as you exhale, arms behind the calves, use your arms to kind of invite the body in like you're giving yourself a hug. 4 more times. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, arms behind the calves, giving yourself a little compression hug. 3 more. Inhale. Exhale, fold and deepen. Moving with the breath. Inhale, we expand. Exhale, we contract. Last time, inhale, expand. Exhale, contract. This time rising all the way up to your full mountain pose, arms reaching up, and then hands gather at the heart center. If, like me, you're near the back of your mat, just take a few steps forward to the front of your space. We'll start to move into our sun salutations. Circle sweep those arms out and up. Exhale, swan dive forward. We're just doing 2 classic Surya Namaskaram A's here. Inhale, half lift. Plant your hands and step back to your plank pose. Pausing for the in-breath. Exhale, lowering on the out-breath. Inhale, back bend of your choice. I'm taking a cobra. You could take an up dog. Exhale, back to the down dog and pause here for 3 breaths. So one of my favorite sort of mantras or affirmations associated with the breath comes from Thich Nhat Hanh, and he says, breathing in, I calm my body, and breathing out, I smile. Dwelling in the present moment, I know that this is a wonderful moment. Look to the front of the mat, walking or stepping your feet towards the back of the wrists. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, folding and deepening. Inhale, rising to the mountain. Exhale to heart center. One more just like that. Breathing in, we calm the body. Exhale, fold, breathing out, maybe a soft smile. Breathing in, we dwell in the present moment. Stepping back, breathing out. This is a wonderful moment, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Taking about 3 slow, deep breaths here. As you breathe, letting the breath fill the entire body and feeling the life force energy of the breath even expanding outside the perimeter of the body into your energy field. Look to the front of the mat, walk, step, or hop the feet. Inhale, half. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise. Exhale, heart center. And I'm going to pause for a very brief moment because we're going to do 3 lunge salutations, which we do together all the time. And what we're going to do is the first round, I'm going to invite you to focus on the in-breath. I want you to make your in-breath as long and unrushed as you can. That may mean the movements that coordinate with the in-breath, you take longer in them. And the out-breath is just going to be natural. Second round, you're going to focus on the out-breath. Make it as long and unrushed as possible. That means those part of the sun salutations may slow down. Third round, we're going to focus on a balanced breath. I'll do a little counting, probably 4 counts, to see if we can have equal inhale and exhale and coordinate the movements that way, okay? So those first 2 rounds, you're going to go a little bit at your own pace because you're following your breath. So find your mountain pose, the top of your mountain. Arms released alongside the body. Take a full breath in and out here and go ahead and elongate that inhale. Make it as long as you can. Exhale, natural and unrushed. Here we go. Inhaling, long and complete. Exhale is just natural, unforced. Inhale, letting it be long and unrushed. And then you exhale. This part may feel a little faster. The inhale you hold, you let it be long, like you're pulling it out. And then the exhale to the dog. Take a full breath in and out there, elongating the inhalation. And then as you exhale, look forward, walk or step the feet. Inhale, here's an elongated in-breath. Exhale, release. Inhale, taking the whole breath to lift up. Exhale, heart center. Pause, switch your awareness to the out breath, making it as long as possible. Then continuing, inhale. The exhale, slow, unrushed, like you're stretching it out. Inhale. And then exhale, slow, stretched, unrushed. The inhale, and then the exhale, slow, unrushed, stretched out. Inhale, looking forward. Exhale, traveling forward, folding. The inhale you pick up. And the exhale, that slow gathering of the hands in your heart center. Then start to equalize your breath, breathing in, 2, 3, 4, breathing out, 2, 3, here we go. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, half, 2, 3, 4, exhale, plank and chaturanga, 3, 4, up dog, 2, 3, 4, down dog, 2, 3, 4, look forward, 2, step, 3, 4, fold deeper, 2, 3, 4, rise to mountain, 2, 3, 4, hands to heart, 2, 3, 4, release the arms, close the eyes, and just find a normal, intuitive breath. Not overly thinking about it, but instead letting the breath breathe the body. Feel the breath expanding out into your energy center. And we'll start to move into our standing sequence. On your next inhale, circle sweep those arms out and up. Exhale, folding over the legs. We're going to move into side angle pose. So stepping the left foot to the back of the mat, spin and plant your left heel down. Right hand could be on block, floor, or your forearm could come to the thigh, left arm to ceiling. 3 breaths here, so that's approximately 15 seconds or so. So not a terribly long period of time, but also not at all rushed. The next time you inhale, you're going to lift up and land in warrior 2 position. I'm going to turn to face you because we're going to take an arm variation here as you bend your arms like field goal posts. As you inhale, think of pressing the forearms back. As you exhale, press the forearms together from fingertips to inner elbows. 2 more. Inhale, open wide. Exhale, closing. Really mimicking the breath here. The inhale, we get bigger, broader, more expansive. The out breath, we get more narrow. We close in, we compress. Pause. Lift your fingertips towards the ceiling without separating the inner elbows. Hold. 1 more in-breath. Exhale, take those arms out wide. Straighten your right leg, moving into Trikonasana triangle pose, reaching forward, dropping the right hand to shin, block, or floor, whatever feels best to you. And again, taking some dynamic movement with this top left arm. As you inhale, sweep that left arm overhead. As you exhale, let it reach back up towards the ceiling or sky. Take that twice more. Inhale, reaching overhead, left bicep by the ear. Exhale, back up, reaching towards the sky. Last time, reaching overhead. And then back up towards ceiling or sky. Bring left hand to waist, half moon, looking down at the mat, shifting your weight forward and launching into your half moon pose, Ardha Chandrasana. Maybe re-extend the left arm and enjoying a couple more breaths here. Feeling a balanced breath, letting the breath fill up the entire body. Revolving our half moon as we square the shoulders and hips to the mat, lower the left fingertips, and then start to twist belly button to the right, heart to the right, right shoulder and arm to ceiling, Parivrita Ardha Chandrasana. When we fill the whole body with breath, we're giving the whole body life energy. Bring the right hand to the waist, setting up for revolved pyramid. Step the left foot down to the mat. Start to firm up and straighten both legs. Left hand could be on block, shin, or floor. Reestablish the twist. Re-lift and elongate the right arm to the ceiling. 3, 2. Looking down at the mat, taking your vinyasa. This could be a 3-legged vinyasa if you wanted that right leg to fly. It could also be a more compassionate transition to down dog or child's pose. We'll take 3 breaths between sides of that sequence. Breathing in, we calm the body. Breathing out, we smile. We'll start to craft that sequence on the second side. So as you look forward, imagine when you're going to step the left foot and then guide the left foot there. Spin and plant the right heel down and then start to create your side angle pose. Finding a position where the breath doesn't feel constricted. It feels like it can smoothly move throughout the body. Let your next in-breath pick you up. You land in Warrior Two pose, and then immediately bring the arms into the goal post position. We'll start that dynamic movement. Inhale, push the forearms back. Exhale, closing fingertips to inner elbows. 2 more. Inhale, opening. Exhale, close and press. 1 more time. Inhale. This time you hold. I lift my fingertips a little bit up towards the ceiling or sky without separating the inner elbows. Stay committed to the Warrior Two in the legs. And then as you inhale, release it all, open the arms, straighten that left leg, start to shift into your triangle, reaching forward. And then dropping into your triangle, remembering there's lots of landing places for that left hand, making sure to choose a position that feels supportive to you. A good question is always, can I take a full breath here with relative ease? Taking that dynamic movement with that top arm, sweep the right arm overhead. And then reach it back up towards the ceiling. 2 more times, sweeping it over and reaching. And then last time to sweep it over and reach it up. And we start to transition to half moon as I soften my left knee, shift my weight forward, and start to find my half moon Ardha Chandrasana. Can you experience your breath without extremes? Just noticing how it exists in the body, in this shape, in this moment. Start to revolve your half moon. So I square my shoulders and hips towards the mat, right fingertips down, and then I start to twist belly button, heart, lift the left shoulder, re-elongate that left arm up towards the ceiling. Find that twist. And then to come out, I look down, I let my right foot softly land on the mat. I'm setting up for revolved pyramid pose, so I firm up both legs. And I probably released quite a bit of my twist, so now I'm going to re-establish the twist to the left, re-extend my left arm, and keep my breath full, filling up my whole body with that life force energy. And then as I look down, I unwind and I move through my Vinyasa. I find my way to down dog or child's pose. And as I breathe in, I let the breath calm my body. And as I breathe out, I let a soft smile come onto my face. As I breathe in, I let myself really dwell in this present moment. And as I breathe out, I remember that this is a wonderful moment. Starting to drop the knees towards the mat, move your right thumb towards your left thumb, and step your right foot forward into a lizard pose. Let the lizard be really long, so I'm going to really slide my left knee back so that I'm getting as deep into this pose as possible. And then a few options here. The hands could stay right underneath the shoulders as I'm demonstrating now. Or if you wanted to challenge the front of the core a little bit, walk your fingertips forward and get even lower and kind of stickier. It's like you take your center of gravity down even more. And just take a couple more breaths here. And this is kind of challenging the core because we're really far away from the midline here. Can we stay calm with the breath? And then I'm going to start to walk my hands right back underneath my shoulders. And then just for a breath, I'm going to sweep my right leg up into a three-legged dog. Because then as I step it forward and through, I'm coming back into a second repetition of side angle pose. Spin my left heel down. A little bit different variation with the arms. Bring your right hand inside the right foot. And then walk your fingertips back until your elbow straightens. My right fingertips are facing my left foot. And then I'm going to sweep my left arm up towards the ceiling and maybe sweep that left arm overhead. I'm using my right shoulder to push my right knee open, so I'm feeling a deep groin stretch here. And I'm taking about 2 more complete breaths. 1 more breath. And then as I look down, my hands are going to find the mat, and I'm coming into pigeon, walking that right foot over to the left side of my mat, settling the shin down, and finding my pigeon pose. I'm going to twist my pigeon today. So my left forearm is going to come across my mat, my right fingertips out to the side of my right knee. And as I push down, I'm going to start to twist around and invite the right hip back. Beautiful. This is a place that you could pause and take several more breaths. If you wanted to explore a quadricep stretch, you could bend the left knee and let those right fingertips sweep back and find the foot and invite that left heel towards the glutes. Yes. 1 more breath. And then gently releasing the back shin if you have it, and stepping back, downward facing dog. And then looking at the elbows, I want you to roll the eye of the elbows forward towards the thumbs, and then soften the elbows to land the forearms down on the mat into a dolphin pose. Taking a couple of breaths there. Relaxing the jaw. No tension in the neck. And then lifting the head. Place the left palm on the mat, the right palm on the mat. And we'll start to set up for the second side of that sequence. So moving left thumb towards the right thumb, lower the knees and step the left foot forward into that space. Moving into that lizard lunge, letting the pelvis drop. And then deciding, do you want to keep the hands as I'm showing now underneath the shoulders? Or do you want to get longer and lower? Feeling how the breath and the body are constantly interacting with each other. And really connecting with the energy that's inside of the pose. And then starting to walk the hands back underneath the shoulders. We take 1 big breath to reach the left leg high and up into three-legged dog, and then step it forward and through, because we're setting up for that side angle variation. So I planted my back heel. My left arm comes inside my left foot for this variation. And then I walk my left arm back until my elbow straightens, fingertips facing the back foot. And then I reach my right arm up, and this left shoulder is like pushing that left knee back. And then option is to reach that right arm. Finding a couple more deep breaths here. Breath and body working in harmony with each other. And then moving into that pigeon, walking that left foot over to the right side of the mat and finding that pigeon pose. We immediately come into the twist. So my right hand, or forearm rather, comes across the mat, left fingertips outside my left knee. And as I push down, I'm revolving around, and oh my goodness, my left hip is so tight today. I'm like feeling this, let me tell you. And so even here, I find myself, I'm moving with my breath. I'm kind of like rocking with it. I'm really letting the breath fill my body completely, but especially the areas of my body that feel a little tight. And then there's that invitation if you wanted to explore the quadricep stretch, lifting the right shin, and really trying to balance the inhale and the exhale, experiencing that balanced breath. And then lowering the right shin. And this time, I am going to bring my forearms to the mat, but I'm going to lift my body just enough to kind of extend my left leg back and come onto my belly, because we're going to move into some back bending postures here. So we've obviously landed in a Sphinx. We'll take a couple breaths here. And a couple reminders. Sphinx is one of those poses that we can get a little bit lazy when we do it in a yang practice. So reminder, we want to activate the legs here, kneecaps away from the mat. I want to push the forearms down, but also pull my elbows towards my ribs. Keep my head lifted, my face soft. And then I'm going to widen my elbows, and I'm going to let my forehead land on the tops of my hands. I'm setting up for a variation of Makrasana, crocodile pose. So I'm actually going to flex my feet and then turn them out like a ballerina in a very, very shallow second position. So my inner ankles are what's moving towards the mat. I'm going to super glue my hands to the top of, or to my forehead. And then as I breathe in, I'm going to lift it all up. So here we go. I'm going to take my breath in, and I'm going to lift my head, my neck, my chest, my shoulders, my elbows, but I'm pushing my inner ankles down and keeping my hands super glued to my forehead. And I'm breathing calmly. Processing what I'm feeling in the moment. And then gently releasing, turn my legs into a neutral position and just let myself rest for a few breaths. Place the palms underneath the shoulders and push up to all fours. And give yourself a couple of cat and cows here. Should feel nice and yummy. Again, feeling how the breath and the body constantly interact with each other. Deepening our relationship with ourselves through this awareness of the energy breath body known as the Pranayama Kosha. And then we'll sit back into Vajrasana. So I'm going to start to sit my hips back. I'm going to separate my heels and let my pelvis land in between my heels here. Yeah, this is like the child watching TV pose. Really, this is how I spent my childhood, on the floor like this. It doesn't feel the same in my 40s as it did in my childhood, I'll tell you that much. So one option is to stay right here. Okay, this is already super challenging for a lot of the joints in the lower legs. Another is to kind of lean back, like the arms are almost like a chair at the beach that you're just kind of resting on. You could start to come lower. If you come any lower, I would suggest just doing a little bit of a lift and extension of the tailbone towards the heels, yeah? And then of course, finally, there's that ability to lower all the way down onto the back. And so finding the depth of the pose that feels most appropriate for your body today. And then letting the breath fill up the entire body, inflating it with life force energy. Enjoying a few more rounds of breath here. And then the exit is perhaps the trickiest part of this posture. We really want to lean into the strength of the arms by pushing into the elbows and then using the hands to press up. And then even once we're seated upright, I use my fingertips to start to shift my weight forward and just take a few moments to kind of bicycle the legs, extending them one at a time, just this slow re-entry into the joints. And then we'll take and bring the seat down to the center of the mat, and we're going to take the legs wide into Upavishta Konasana. And as you find your wide-legged seat, I want you to begin by actually sending that life force energy all the way down the lengths of the legs and out through the heels. And if, like me, you have a little bit of hyperextension, your heels may pop off. And just hold that for a moment. Feel that sense of, ooh, my legs are super awake here. Keep all of that, but move into a Barbie foot. So it's like I'm pushing through the balls of my feet, but my toes are still pulled back. Yes. And then go ahead and fully point the feet. And then if you ever did any dancing, you'll understand what I'm saying here. I'm going to ask you to sickle your foot, but essentially I'm lengthening the outer edge of my foot and I'm doing this, like what I'm doing with my hands. Yeah, it's almost like you're crunching in. Yeah. Now go the other direction. Tilt the feet out, which we would call this like beautiful ballet line if you were doing an arabesque or something. Yes. And then relax the feet completely, just like effortless. There's nothing there. Good. Circle sweep those arms out and up. Bring the hands out in front of you. Have a soft flex in your feet, not too active, and start to walk yourself forward. Find an appropriate edge and give yourself several breaths there. And then we're going to move into a kind of swaying action here from side to side. So as I inhale, I'm going to kind of sweep my torso over to the right and my left arm goes overhead. And then as I exhale, I'm going to pass through center and go the other direction. So I like exhale and swing, and inhale and stretch, and exhale and swing, and inhale and stretch. And you're just going at the pace of your breath. If this is compromising to your low back, then just pick a side and take a few breaths, and then make a mindful transition to the other side. We'll go about 2 more in each direction, or about 4 more breaths total. And after your next breath, when you swing through center, just stay there, and you may find that you're naturally a lot lower, just through that coaxing with the swinging action. And then again, relax the effort in the feet. And just take a few more breaths here. On your next breath, start to walk the hands back up and in. And bring the fingertips underneath your knees. And as you lean back, just slowly close the legs like you're closing a book. And then draw the heels in towards the glutes. And give yourself a little hug here, even rounding the spine. Your nose can kind of drop in between your knees. And then we'll take a very simple twist from here. So as you lift your head, walk your feet forward until you feel, pretty stable. There's this sense of like, okay, I can sit upright in this position. Take your left hand behind you, reach your right arm up, and then either hand or elbow, and you start to twist around. Okay, so I'm going to do my arm. And this is not a super deep twist, but it should feel pretty good. And then as I inhale, I look forward, slowly releasing that twist. And I'm just going to switch sides. So my right hand is going to come behind me, and either left hand or elbow or arm. And then I inhale to get tall and exhale to start to access that twist. Experiencing the breath without extremes. Just noticing how the breath exists in the body, in this shape, in this moment. Releasing the twist and finding our way into our Shavasana by starting to lie all the way flat on the floor, extending legs and arms. When we pause and mindfully connect with our breath, we realize that healing, growth, authenticity, all deepen through our relationship with the energy and breath body. Slow breathing. Breathing in, we calm the body. And breathing out, we smile. Dwelling in the present moment. We know that this is a pretty wonderful moment. Present moment. Wonderful moment. Without moving your body at all, simply allow your breath to deepen and become more conscious. Let yourself notice how dynamic and full of life your breath is. And then from that awareness of the breath, start to reanimate your body with subtle movement. Maybe a wiggling of the fingers and the toes, or a rocking of the head. And as that movement becomes bigger, start to make your way back to a comfortable seat to close the practice. Bringing the palms of the hands together, we ask that the entire universe be filled with peace and joy, love and light, which sounds like these 4 words in Sanskrit. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Victory to all of our practices. Jai.